Liam Cade stood in front of a mirror, adjusting the collar of his diplomat jacket for the 5th time. Stop fidgeting, he told himself. You're not facing a battle. You're just proposing to an alien princess who might laugh at you in front of her royal guards and possibly the entire galaxy. He groaned and covered his face. Great pep talk, Liam. But no matter how much he tried to stay calm, his hands trembled with nervous energy. The idea had been stuck in his head since the last meeting. Princess Illyria was everything he didn't expect: kind, sharp, curious, and strong.
Ah!
Her laughter still echoed in his mind like music. The more he thought about it, the more he realized this wasn't just infatuation. It was something deeper. Something strange and real. And that's why he was going to do something completely insane. He was going to propose. The Garden of Stars that evening. Liam stepped into the Taverthi Royal Garden, a floating terrace above the summit tower. The garden was filled with glowing plants from across the galaxy. Vines shimmered like crystal threads. Flowers opened to the rhythm of the stars. Small orbs of light floated through the air, like fireflies made of starlight. And in the center of it all stood Princess Illyria. She wore a simple gown of pale blue, her silver hair gently lifted by the breeze. She turned as she heard his footsteps. You came, she said softly. You invited me. Liam replied, smiling nervously. I wasn't sure you would. Neither was I. They both laughed quietly. Illyria led him to a curved stone bench under a glowing tree. They sat together, watching the sky. You brought me a toy last time, she said. What do you have for me today? Liam didn't answer right away. Instead, he stood up, took a deep breath, and then knelt down on one knee before her. Illyria blinked. The moment stretched. Liam reached into his pocket and pulled out a small metal ring handmade, carved from a piece of earth steel. It wasn't fancy, but it was polished and strong. Just like in Illyria, he said, his voice steady now. I know this is sudden. I know I'm just a human, from a planet that barely made it into the Galactic Alliance. But I meant what? I said before, Earth may be small, but we feel deeply. I feel something for you that I've never felt before. He looked up into her glowing violet eyes. I know this might sound ridiculous to your people, maybe even to you, but I'm asking anyway. Will you consider marrying me? For a second, the world was silent. Then, Princess Illyria's eyes widened. Her lips quivered, and then she burst into uncontrollable giggles. Liam froze. Her laughter echoed across the garden, light and joyful, like bells chiming in the wind. She covered her mouth, trying to stop, but she couldn't. Even her shoulders shook. Liam's heart dropped. Was she mocking him? Okay, he said slowly, still kneeling. That's not exactly the reaction I hoped for. Illyria finally caught her breath. I'm sorry, she gasped between giggles. It's not you, it's just kneeling. That gesture in Taverthi culture. What's something children do when they ask for more dessert? Liam blinked. Wait, what? In our tradition, she said, wiping tears from her eyes, kneeling is considered silly, almost funny, like a joke or a game. No one does it seriously. Liam stood up slowly, his face burning. So, I just proposed to you? Like a 5-year-old asking for cookies? Exactly, she said, and then started laughing again. He rubbed the back of his neck. Great, I'm going to be a galactic meme. No, she said quickly, calming herself. No, Liam, it was sweet and brave. I wasn't laughing at you, I promise. I was just surprised in a good way. He looked at her, unsure if he should feel relieved or crushed. Then she stood up and took his hand. You really asked me to marry you? She asked gently. I did, even knowing what that means. No, not really, Liam admitted. I don't know Taverthi marriage laws. I don't know your people's full customs. I just know how I feel when I'm with you. And that's enough for me to ask. She looked at him deeply. Then here's my answer. She leaned in close and whispered, Maybe. Maybe.
Ow.
Liam echoed. She smiled. In Taverthi courtship, we don't say yes right away. Maybe means you've started something. A possibility. A door opening. It's good. Right. It means, she said, you'll have to prove yourself. The viral moment the next day, Liam woke up to a nightmare. His communicator buzzed nan-stop.news feeds. Messages, video clips, someone had recorded the entire proposal. The kneeling, the laughter, the awkward silence, it had gone viral across the galactic network. The title was everywhere. Human ambassador kneels before alien princess She laughs in his face. Liam groaned. Perfect. Even worse, alien. Commentators began making jokes about Earth's courtship rituals and calling Liam the laughing lover. Memes showed him kneeling with plates of dessert or holding signs that said, "Please marry me, Princess Cookie," his team tried to do. Damage control, but it was too late. The galaxy was laughing, but strangely they weren't laughing in a cruel way. People were. Amused, curious, even moved. Many younger Tavarathi citizens began calling Liam brave. Some humans started saying, at least someone from Earth had the guts to speak from the heart. And Princess Illyria? She didn't hide. She released a short message to the press. Ambassador Liam Cage showed great courage. In Tavarathi tradition, laughter is not shame, is joy. And joy, in matters of the heart, is a gift. The Empress reacts, of course. Not everyone was pleased. Empress Varelia, mother of Illyria and ruler of the Tavarathi Empire, was not amused. She summoned Illyria for a private meeting. "You embarrassed the court," the Empress said coldly. "Galaxy laughs at our daughter." "No, mother," Illyria replied calmly. "The galaxy laughs because they saw something real, something no one expected. You will end this now." "I won't," Illyria said. "He was honest, he was brave. And maybe, he's the future." The Empress stared at her daughter, then turned away. "If you continue down this path, there will be consequences." The final scene that evening, Illyria sent a message to Liam. "Meet me in the garden again. We need to talk." He arrived under the glowing tree once more. She stood waiting, her eyes serious this time. "My mother is furious," she said. "I figured," Liam replied, "but I told her the truth. I told her, I want to see where this goes." Liam smiled, slowly. "So the maybe still stands." She nodded. "But now it's stronger, more real." They stood in silence, the garden lights glowing around them. Then Illyria did something unexpected. She knelt in front of him. Liam's eyes widened. "What are you doing?" She looked up with a mischievous grin. "On Earth, this means something serious, doesn't it?" "Yes," he whispered. "Then maybe it's time I learn your ways, strange as they are." And this time it was Liam who couldn't stop laughing. The next few days were not easy for Liam or Princess Illyria. After the proposal went viral and the Empress showed her anger, the royal palace became a place of quiet tension. Whispers filled the long halls. Nobles laughed behind. Fans. Others frowned in silence. The alien media still played the clip of Liam kneeling and Illyria laughing. To many, it was a sweet moment. To others, it was a scandal, but Liam stayed calm. He had started something and he wouldn't walk away now. Inside the royal court one morning, Princess Illyria invited Liam to the royal Chamber of Voices, the Tavarathi court where laws were made and judgments were spoken. Dozens of high-ranking nobles sat in silver chairs that floated above the floor. Their robes sparkled. Their faces were unreadable. Liam stood alone in the center of the great round hall. The ceiling was open, showing the sky above. It felt like the stars themselves were watching. Princess Illyria sat on one side. On the other sat General Krosvik, one of the strongest Tavarathi warriors and a favorite of the Empress. "This human," Krosvik said, standing tall, "is not of noble blood. He is not Tavarathi. He does not know our ways." He made a mockery of our courtship rituals. "How can he be considered a future prince?" Murmurs spread across the chamber. Liam didn't move. He waited. Then Illyria stood up. "He may not know our ways," she said, "but he has shown heart, honesty, and respect. That is more than most suitors here." Krosvik turned to her. "You defend him even now?" "I do." The Empress finally raised her hand, silencing the room. "If you wish to continue this path," she said coldly, "then let him prove his worth the Tevrthi way." Illyria nodded. "He will." Liam blinked. "Wait, I will." She looked at him and smiled softly. "Yes, you will." The Tevrthi courting trial later that night. Liam stood in a quiet room with Illyria. The Tevrthi courting trial, she explained, is an ancient tradition. It is a test of mind, body, and spirit. Only those who pass it are seen as worthy of union with royalty. "What does it involve?" Liam asked, nervous. "You'll face 3 challenges," she said. "One of strength, one of wisdom, and one of character. The elders will judge, and if I fail, you'll still have my respect," she said. "But the court will reject you." Liam sighed. "All right, when do we start?" "Tomorrow." He nodded. "Okay, no pressure." "Shh," whispered, "I believe in you, Earthmen." Challenge 1. The Gauntlet of Gravity. The next day, Liam stood at the edge of a round platform floating above a canyon. The gravity inside the circle changed every few seconds, sometimes strong, sometimes weak, sometimes sideways. The challenge was simple: cross the platform without falling. Aliens from across the galaxy watched from the sides. Liam took a deep breath and stepped onto the platform. At first, the gravity was normal. Then suddenly, his body lifted into the air. He crashed back down, rolled, stood again. Every few seconds, the direction changed. He crawled. He jumped. He slid. Sweat ran down his face. His arms ached. He nearly fell 3 times, but he never gave up. After 20 exhausting minutes, he reached the other side. The crowd clapped politely, but Princess Illyria smiled with pride. Challenge 2. The Trial of the Voice. The next challenge took place in a crystal chamber. Liam stood before a group of scholars who asked questions not about Earth, but about Tevrthi, law, history, and culture. He had studied for days with Illyria's help. But now, the pressure was real. Who was the first empress of the Tevrthi Empire? One elder asked. "Ellerai the Bold," Liam replied. "What is the punishment for breaking a royal promise?" "Loss of name," he answered. "In exile." "What is the Tevrthi belief about laughter?" "That it is a private truth." Liam said, "A sign of trust." The scholars whispered among themselves. One of them looked impressed. "You have studied well," the head scholar said. "But one final question remains. Why do you seek to join the royal line?" Liam looked at the man, spoke from the heart. "Not to gain power, not to impress Earth or win favor. I seek this path because I love your princess. I believe that love between 2 worlds can build something new, something better." Silence followed. Then the scholar nodded. "You may proceed to the final trial." Challenge 3. The Mirror of the Heart. This was the hardest one. Liam was taken to a dark chamber deep below the palace. There, he stood in front of a glowing mirror, tall, ancient, and full of swirling light. Illyria's voice echoed in his ear. "This mirror shows your greatest fear. You must face it without running." Liam nodded and stepped forward. At first, he saw nothing. Then the light inside the mirror shifted and he saw himself, older, alone, standing on a ruined Earth. Watching the stars fade, he saw Princess Illyria. Walking away, her back turned. He saw the galaxy laughing not with joy, but with mockery. "You are nothing," a voice whispered. "Just a joke, human joke." His hands shook, but he stood firm. "I'm not perfect," he said out loud. "I'm not the strongest. I'm not the smartest. But I won't stop trying. Not for her, not for us." The mirror glowed brighter, then shattered into sparks, and the door opened. He had passed. A divided court later that night. The royal court gathered again. Liam stood once more in the center. He had completed all 3 trials. Some nobles clapped. Some remained cold. General Krosvik stayed silent. Then Empress Veralia stood. "You have proven yourself," she said. "But tradition alone cannot decide this. Our court is divided. Some accept you, others do not." She turned to her daughter. "You Illyria must choose. Continue this path and risk exile from the royal line, or step back and keep your title. The room fell silent. All eyes turned to the princess. She looked at her mother, then at Liam. Then she stepped forward and said, "Clearly, I choose him." Gasps echoed across the chamber. The Empress's face remained still. So be it. Liam stepped beside Illyria. "You don't have to give up your place," she smiled. "If I can't choose my own heart, then I don't want that throne." The Empress looked at her daughter for a long time. Then, softly, she said, "Very well. But there is one more thing." The entire royal court was silent after Princess Illyria made her choice. "I choose him," she had said clearly, standing beside Liam, holding his hand. The nobles whispered. The guards froze. Even the stars outside seemed to pause. Empress Varelia's eyes narrowed. She didn't shout. She didn't show anger. She only spoke with cold power. "You may choose him," she said slowly, "but you do not yet understand the cost." Liam could feel Illyria's fingers tighten around his. "What cost?" she asked, raising her chin proudly. The Empress stood and walked down the steps of her throne platform. Her long dark robe flowed like smoke behind her. "If you wish to bind yourself to a human, then you must both prove that such a union will not weaken the empire. You must show that your love brings strength, not shame." Illyria stepped forward. "I already did. You passed the trials. Trials can be passed by." "Skill," the Empress replied. "But honor must be earned in front of the people." Liam stepped forward now. "And tell us how." The Empress looked at him carefully. "There is one way. An old rite not used in generations." She turned and spoke loudly to the court. "The trial of Kerith." A deep gasp ran through the chamber. Illyria's eyes widened. "That's a challenge." "Of legacy, yes," the Empress said. "A test not only of body or mind, but of heart, truth, and leadership." Liam frowned. "What does it involve?" Empress answered. "You will stand before the Empire's people. You will speak. To them, you will let them judge your worth. It's not just in words, but in action. And if they say I'm not worthy," Liam asked. Then the Empress said, "You leave this world. Forever." Illyria turned to Liam. "You don't have to do this. We can leave. Go to Earth or any free world. I'll go with you." Liam looked at her with soft eyes. "I could run, but I won't. If we're going to be together, I want to earn it." Preparing for the final stand, the next 2 days were filled with chaos and preparation. News of the trial of Kerith spread quickly across the galaxy. Crowds began to arrive. On Tevroth, reporters, diplomats, traders, soldiers, billions would be watching the event. Liam walked through the palace gardens, trying to think. Illyria joined him. "You're not Tevrothi," she said gently. "You don't have to follow our old ways." "Is I?" "No," Liam replied. "But this isn't just about your people. It's about mine too." Illyria looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I want Earth to be more than a name on the Alliance list," he explained. "I want us to be seen as equals, as people who love, fight, and stand just like the rest. If I run away, I'll prove all the doubters right." Touched his cheek. "You already changed many minds. Let's change a few more." The trial of Kerith trial was held in the Great Sky Hall, a stadium made of floating stone rings high in the atmosphere. The floor was made of hardened light. The walls were transparent, showing the planet below and stars above. Aliens of every shape and kind filled the seats. Holograms of the event were broadcast to thousands of planets. Liam stood in the center. He wore a simple Earth-made uniform. No crown, no armor, just honesty. Illyria stood on one side of the ring. The Empress stood on the other. A deep voice echoed. Through the hall, let the trial begin. Challenge 1. Speak to the people. Liam was handed a small orb. It glowed when touched, sending his voice to every listening device across the stars. He took a deep breath. "My name is Liam Cade. I'm from Earth, a planet many of you may not care about or even know. We don't have ancient cities among the stars or giant fleets. But we have people. People who dream, love, fight, and hope. He looked at Illyria. I didn't come here to win power. I didn't kneel for politics. I asked a question with my heart. He turned to the audience. You may think it's foolish for a human to ask for the hand of a Tevrthi princess. Maybe it is, but love doesn't ask permission. And change doesn't wait for approval. He lowered the orb. Silence. Then a few cheers, and a wave of applause. Challenge 2. Face the blade. Next came the physical challenge. General Krosvik stepped forward, wearing ceremonial battle gear. He held 2 curved training blades. You must stand in the circle of defense for 3 minutes, the Empress said. If you are knocked out, you fail. Liam picked up the wooden staff given to him. No armor, just his reflexes. The bell rang. Krosvik moved fast, too fast. Liam dodged the first blow, ducked under the second, rolled aside. The general was strong. Each strike could break bones. Liam fought with speed, not strength. He got hit once, twice, but stayed on his feet at one point. He tripped and fell. The crowd held their breath. Krosvik raised his blade, but Liam flipped backward, kicked the general's leg, and stood again. The bell rang. 3 minutes passed. He had survived. The crowd roared. Even Krosvik gave him a respectful nod. Challenge 3. The people. Decide. Now came the final test. The Empress raised her hand. People of Tevrith, citizens of the galaxy, the choice is yours. This human has passed our tests, but only you can accept or reject him. Holographic panels appeared in the air. Across the planet, citizens cast their votes. Liam stood still, holding Illyria's hand. He whispered, "Whatever happens, I have no regrets." A minute later, large screen appeared above the sky hall. Voting complete. The numbers appeared. Support, 61%. Reject, 39%. The Empress blinked. Even she hadn't expected this. The people had spoken. They accepted him, the Empresses. Final words. She stood before the people. Then let it be known, she said. Liam of Earth has passed the trial of Kareth, is accepted by the Empire, and his bond with my daughter is recognized. Liam breathed out slowly. He felt light as if the weight of 1,000 stars had left his chest. Illyria smiled wide and laughed, the same laugh that started it all. He turned to her. Did you think this would happen? She grinned. I hoped. Then she reached into her robe and pulled out something small and round, a spinning top, the same toy he had once gifted her. She handed it to him and said, "Still my favorite Earth gift." Liam laughed. "Glad you didn't throw it away." Illyria leaned in close. "Let's spin it again someday."
On Earth.
The galaxy watched in silence. The moment had come. Liam stood before the Grand Hall, the place where all important decisions were made. This was not a battlefield with swords or guns. This was a place of words and wisdom, where honor was won or lost in ancient tradition. Princess Illyria stood beside him, calm but glowing with quiet strength. The Empress watched from her throne, her eyes sharp but not unkind. The final challenge. The duel of honor. The Empress spoke clearly, her voice echoing through the hall. The final test will be the duel of honor, debate to prove worthiness. Through wisdom, respect, and truth, not through violence. Liam nodded, feeling the weight of this ancient ritual. The opponent, none other than General Krosvik Strong, proud and loyal to Tevrthi traditions. The rules were simple. Each would speak in turn. They would present their beliefs, defend their ideas, and show why they deserved the trust of the Empire and the heart of the princess. The audience was vast leaders, citizens and watchers from across the stars. Opening statements, Liam stepped forward first. My name is Liam Cade from Earth. I stand here not as a conqueror, but as a learner. I do not claim to be perfect, but I claim to love Princess Illyria honestly and deeply. He looked toward the audience. Our worlds are different, yes, but that is a strength, not a weakness. Through love and understanding, we can unite not only our people, but many others who fear change. He turned to General Krosvik. I respect your traditions, and your courage. I do not seek to erase what you have built. I seek only to add to it with hope, respect, and heart. General Krovex. Response: the general rose, his voice strong and clear. Teverthy honor is not something to give lightly. It is earned through courage, loyalty, and strength. A human, untested by our ways, cannot understand our people or our duty. He looked directly at Liam. Your trials were mere tests of survival. The real battle is in knowing our history, our blood, and our sacred duty. The crowd murmured. The debate begins. The duel was not a fight with weapons, but a battle of ideas. Liam spoke of Earth's history of human mistakes and triumphs. He told stories of unity between different tribes, how people learned to trust despite differences. General Krosvik replied with tales of Teverethi, victories, and the importance of tradition and honor. Each took turns answering questions from the Empress and the court elders. At one point, Eliam was asked why he deserved the princess's hand more than others. He answered simply, "Because I love her, not her title, not her power. I love who she is, her mind, her spirit." Illyria watched him closely, pride shining in her eyes. A turning point as the debate continued. Liam began to feel something change in the room. Not all were convinced yet. But some nobles nodded slowly. Some younger Teverothi whispered encouragement. General Krosvik, too, began to show respect. After hours of debate, the Empress finally spoke. You have both shown wisdom and strength. But this is not only about words. She gestured to the princess. Illyria, your choice is now final. The princess's decision. Illyria stepped forward, calm and radiant. She looked at Liam, then the court. I choose Liam Cade. Gasps and whispers filled the hall. The Empress stood, her face unreadable. Then it is done. She smiled faintly. May your union bring strength to the Empire and peace to the galaxy. The giggling Replium dropped to one knee again, in front of Illyria. This time, the court waited in silence. Illyria smiled, the same smile Liam had fallen 4 months ago. Then she giggled softly, the sound light and warm. Yes, she said with a twinkle in her eye, and never stopped kneeling. It's adorable. Liam laughed, feeling his heart soar. The court erupted into applause. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, a new beginning in the weeks that followed. Celebrations filled the Teverothi Empire. News spread across the galaxy, a human and an alien. Princess were to be joined in marriage, a symbol of unity and hope. Liam and Illyria visited planets together, meeting their peoples, sharing stories, building friendships. Earth's place in the galaxy grew stronger not through war or power, but through love and courage. Epilogue: one quiet evening. Liam and Illyria stood on the balcony of the royal palace. She held the wooden spinning top he had given her long ago. Remember this? She asked. He smiled. My favorite gift. Illyria laughed softly. Who would have thought a silly toy could start all this? Liam looked at her. Sometimes it's the smallest things that change the biggest worlds. They stood together, watching the stars, a human and an alien princess, friends, and now something more. Their future was uncertain, but one thing was sure: they would face it together. The royal hall of Glavenseven shimmered with golden lights and soft music made of wind and water sounds. It was the season of choosing the most awaited event of the Blobari Empire. The nobles had gathered, floating in the air with grace, their soft round bodies glowing under the crystal lights. Princess Yulba sat on a large floating cushion at the far end of the hall. She looked down at the shining floor, wishing she could disappear. Her body was rounder and bigger than most Blobari. Her color was a deep violet, and her eyes, wide and kind, often showed sadness. She was the youngest daughter of Emperor Glub and Empress Zelda, and yet no suitor had ever chosen her. Around her floated the other princesses, slimmer, shinier, and more confident. Nobles, princes, and highborn males from all corners of the galaxy had come to choose a royal mate. One by one, they floated toward the other princesses, offering gifts, dancing, and psychic songs of interest. But when it was Yulba's turn, silence filled the hall. As always, no one moved toward her. Whispers spread through the crowd, too. Big for the throne, ... Double quotes, she would crush my skyboat, ... Why does she even show up? Yulba had heard it all before. This time, it hurt more. Maybe because she had truly hoped just once someone would see her heart, not just her size. In the back of the hall, standing beside the human delegation, Sergeant Jonah Reeve watched quietly. He wasn't a prince or a noble. Just a soldier, a simple man from Earth assigned to the human embassy. But something about the sad alien princess sitting alone tugged at his heart. He wasn't even sure why. Maybe it was the way she looked down instead of up. Maybe it was the way she didn't pretend to smile. She looked ... real. The ceremony continued. More matches were made. Cheers rose. Lights danced. Yulba tried to leave the hall quietly. She had accepted the rejection again. But before she could float away, a human voice spoke. Wait. Everyone turned. Jonah Reeve stepped forward. His brown military uniform was clean but simple. He didn't shine like the others, had no crown or rings, but he walked with calm steps until he stood below Princess Yulba. Gasps filled the air. What is he doing? A human? With a royal? Unheard of. Jonah cleared his throat. His voice was deep but kind. Your Highness, he said, may I speak with you? Yulba blinked. Her body shimmered slightly, a blowbari sign of surprise. You ... want to speak with me? He nodded. Yes, if that's all right. She looked around. Nobles stared, waiting to laugh. Her sisters looked shocked, but something inside her whispered, let him. She floated down slowly, stopping just above Jonah's head. Very well, she said softly. Speak. Jonah looked into her large purple eyes. I don't know much about blowbari customs, he began, but I do know what loneliness looks like. And today, I saw something no one else seemed to care about. The hall fell silent. I saw someone who was brave enough to show up, even knowing she might be rejected again. That's courage. That's worth more than shiny words or pretty colors. Yulba didn't speak. She didn't know how. No one had ever said something so honest to her before. I don't have a crown, Jonah continued. I'm just a soldier. But if no one else will see your worth, then let me be the first. He kneeled. Princess Yulba, may I court you? The hall erupted. This is madness. A joke. The Empire will never allow it. Empress Zelda stood, her voice shaking. The hall. Human, do you understand what you're asking? Jonah stood tall. Yes, Your Majesty, I do. I don't ask for her throne. I ask for her time, her trust, and maybe her friendship. Yulba looked down at him, heart pounding. She had dreamed of such words, but never believed they could be real. Why me? He whispered. Why not one of them? Jonah smiled. Because they all look at you and see what you are. I looked at you and saw who you are. Tears filled her wide eyes, glowing softly. The Emperor stood now. He was a massive figure, his voice calm but powerful. No human has ever asked for a blowbari royal's hand, he said. This would be ... unusual, Jonah nodded. I understand, and yet ... The Emperor looked at his daughter, Yulba. What is your answer? Everyone leaned in. The blowbari princess floated closer to Jonah. Her voice trembled. No one has ever asked me before. Not truly, not kindly. She paused. Yes, you may court me, Jonah Reeve. Silence. Then shock. Then outrage. And somewhere deep in the crowd, a single cheer. Then another. Then more. The noble crowd split in two, some disgusted, others stunned, a few smiling for the first time. As Yulba and Jonah walked side by side toward the exit, a few reporters snapped photos. The lights flashed. Questions flew. But Jonah didn't care, and neither did Yulba. For the first time in her life, someone saw her. Not the blowbari shape, not the royal title, just her.